Hi, this is Craig Amron at Hidden Rhythm Acupuncture. In our ongoing series on how acupuncture works, we're going to be talking this time about how acupuncture can help reduce inflammation. Inflammation is a complex series of chemical reactions designed to fight off infection when the body thinks it's been damaged. Simply, inflammation is a region where there are high amounts of white blood cells and macrophages. These infection-fighting cells leave the blood vessels and enter the surrounding intercellular tissue. Well, eventually the sheer number of these cells begin to put pressure on the local area, ultimately compressing the local nerves and blood vessels. Imagine several people squeezing into a phone booth and one person trying to make a call. The area becomes so crowded that the normal function of the tissue becomes compromised, resulting in severe local pain and restricted blood flow. How do these cells know when to leave the blood vessels and enter and migrate towards the injury site? There are a series of chemical messengers that help dictate the actions of these white blood cells called cytokines. These cytokines play several roles during the immune and inflammatory response. Cytokines such as interleukin-1 beta and interleukin-6 are considered pro-inflammatory because they allow the blood vessels to become permeable or leaky. Specifically, they become permeable to white blood cells and allow them to slip out of the blood vessels and into the surrounding tissue. Now, normally this is considered a good thing. They do this to help fight off infectious agents when tissue has been traumatized. But what happens when there's no trauma? When there has been an internal injury or an irritation of an old injury? Well, even though there's no chance of infection, the immune response and the inflammatory response has been triggered and thus causing inflammation. Now it can become a problem. In fact, out of control or unregulated inflammation is a main contributor to health problems including cancer, heart disease, asthma, allergies, and autoimmune diseases. Because this is such a huge topic, we're only going to be talking about how inflammation is a part of the wound healing process resulting from injury. So how do we keep the inflammatory process from getting out of control? Well, to help moderate or control these pro-inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-1 beta and interleukin-6, we also have anti-inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-10. So how does acupuncture affect inflammation? Well, there's several studies that have shown how acupuncture can reduce inflammation in two ways. First of all, acupuncture at certain locations can help reduce interleukin-6, the pro-inflammatory cytokine, and we can also increase concentrations of an anti-inflammatory cytokine called interleukin-10. Well, these studies have been proven in both animals and humans. And the beauty is that acupuncture doesn't have any of these horrible side effects or health risks compared to something like cortisone. Cortisone, as we know, has a huge risk of both negative side effects, and it can compromise the immune system and lead to additional infections. Why does acupuncture have this effect on cytokine levels? Well, to be honest, we're not completely sure, but the results have been studied extensively. And if you want to know more about this type of research and the results from this, you can check out the article on my website called Acupuncture versus Cortisone for Inflammation. And this is found on the published articles section of my website. So thank you for watching this video in our ongoing series to help explain some of these mechanisms of how acupuncture works. And stay tuned for our next video where we'll be talking about how acupuncture works for emotional disorders.